Hello everybody, this is the Wikstrand. So do you remember the video game Dungeon Siege? Well, a couple of years after the release of that game came the movie. In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege tale. Now, despite having some pretty big name and a pretty decent budget, the movie was a complete flop and was called out for being one of the worst movies that has ever been made. Turns out it was just another one of Uwe Boll's, the producer's schemes or whatever it was. And looking back at it, it was just a pretty underwhelming, cheesy, bad fantasy movie. But do you want to see a fantasy movie that is really bad? Well, we're gonna take a look at the sequel today, In the Name of the King 2. In the Name of the King 2 starts at the only logical place where a movie like this should start, in modern day Canada. Wait, what? So, in modern day Canada, we have this dojo instructor played by Dolph Lundgren who is sad that, his friends died in some unnamed war some time ago, unknown where, unknown when, and unknown why, and we don't really care that much because there's a bunch of, medieval cosplaying dudes that invades his house and somehow he's transported through this portal thing to another world, a sort of fantasy world where he meets this king with his dollar store crown who tells him that, well, you're the chosen one now, so you're going to go and, kill this wicked witch who is, threatening this world with, not only her bad acting, but also, this plague thing. It's unclear which one of those two are the worst. So off you go and take these red shirts with you and try not to get killed on the way. So him and, this bunch of red shirts, they go away and try to, fight this witch and stuff like that. That is basically the entire movie, and boy howdy is this a horrible movie. Now, as I said, the original movie had Ray Liotta, Jason Statham and Ron Perlman. They had a pretty big budget. This movie has an uninterested Dolph Lundgren who was in this movie just so he could pay the legal fees for a divorce. And the production budget, well, it only covers a rickety-ass castle which looks, one step above a castle you would find at the playground, a bunch of cosplayers and a dragon that is such a horrible CGI that it looks almost as uncomfortable as being in this movie as Dolph Lundgren does, and just wants to be in another movie, preferably one that doesn't suck. So we have a bunch of very bad fight sequences, lots of walking and a lot of horrible acting, and that's basically it. It makes no sense, all the characters are super flat and everything just looks cheap and uninteresting. There are some decent, cinematography. That is the only thing that keeps this movie above absolute hell. This is an absolute nightmare to get through, and the movie seemed to almost ask me the same questions. Are you sick of this movie yet? Are you sick of this movie yet? My answer is always yes. Can we stop now? And the movie's answer is always no, we have some more shit to do. This movie seems to go on for absolute ever, despite being a relatively short movie. If you can avoid seeing this movie, avoid seeing this movie. This movie is a horrible experience, and I can't believe that people almost think that this is about as bad as, the original movie. Jesus Christ, this movie is horrible. Am I too generous to give this movie 10 points? I saw this movie as a part of a project I had, when I was going to watch most of Uwe Boll's filmography, and I found this movie to be slightly above some of the really terrible movies he has made. So maybe considering that this movie, if I would have seen this without having, seen all of these other nonsense that he has done, would probably have gotten an even worse ratings than that. But this is one of the worst fantasy movies I've ever seen, and it's really terrible. So I'll see you next time for so-and-so reviewing, such and such. Thank you for watching. Thank you very much.